Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Subliteral Network. I make art and comics, and thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe and to leave your feedback in the comments. I post art daily, 5 days a week on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and this is a roundup of some of that work in case you missed it, with a little more detailed description added. You can read my Una the Cave Bunny comics free at radiocomics.com, and my one-shot comic called Searchers is available at burningstarcomics.net. Visit my Patreon page if you'd like to support my work. There's a growing gallery of art and comics to see and enjoy. All these links are in my description and bio, so please watch till the end so you don't miss anything. So my son gives me a pack of unlined index cards. I guess he had a bunch of them and he had extra, so he gave me a couple of packs of them. So I'm sitting there looking at them and figuring out what I'm going to draw on them. So my first stop was the Mirror Universe from Star Trek, the original series. The Mirror Universe was one of the coolest, greatest, and kind of popular things to come out of the original series. And I chalked that up to those uniforms they made for the female crew members. The bare midriff thing just kind of sent shockwaves through, I don't know, the Star Trek culture. It's just a thing that remained. And even on the Enterprise, the show they made in the 90s, I think it was, when they went to the Mirror Universe, they repeated that bare midriff thing. I posted this during some of the recent snowstorms that we had a couple of weeks ago. It's Una the Cave Bunny in the prehistoric North. I made the whole piece of art as one of the wallpapers I offered to my patrons over on Patreon, and the idea of putting Una in and taking her out of the jungle and kind of the tropical areas and putting her in like totally covered up in this kind of Eskimo-like suit with the club and something that you draw your character, I find, in a different situation than you normally would, and you get different ideas and a different expression of the character, which is important when you're drawing comics, because so often you're repeating the same design elements, page to page, panel to panel. Breaking the character out of that is really liberating and gives you a different perspective and spawns kind of new ideas. Lately, some of my posts have been mashups of the little Sharpie sketches that I send out with the art to my eBay winners. I try to make them have some relationship to each other. So this one has a lot of cross-referencing. You know, there's Lois Payne from on the left from Wally Wood's classic story that he did for Mad Magazine, or was it EC Magazine? Mad Magazine, back in the late 50s. Super Duper Man versus Captain Marbles. This is a parody of Lois Lane. You know, she was just like super sexy and arrogant and just a complete creep, really. But she had that cigarette going, and Lois Payne was a classic Wallywood babe. I think she's kind of the peak of what the kind of sexy, attractive women that he was drawing back in those days. And this was the sketch on the right is just kind of it's a Superwoman sketch that I drew. I don't think DC did a Superwoman character in one of their Elseworld stories, but mine is not that. The original art was just a super muscular woman in a Superman costume. There was this comic story in Marvel Comics where She-Hulk reformed the Lady Liberators, some old comic book group from the 70s. It's kind of a complicated story. The Lady Liberators were sent out to capture the Red Hulk. And I did this drawing where, well, of course, in the comics, the Lady Liberators won. But I never believed they could really defeat the Red Hulk. And for a little while, I've had this idea of the Red Hulk actually completely smashing up the Lady Liberators. Let's not get into the psychology too much. I drew this piece to sell on eBay, and I ended up putting a lot more into it than I thought was going to happen. Like, the Valkyrie gets her armor completely destroyed, and you see the blue dot where I had to cover it up, I think, for YouTube. But, you know, I just had so much fun with this piece that I was sad to see it go. You know, I did sell And sometimes you just really want to hang on to a piece of art, and this was one of them. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my subscribers, and a special welcome to my new subscribers. I'm happy and appreciate that you enjoy hearing about my work, and I hope you can come back for more. Remember, joining me on Patreon helps me create the content you enjoy.